Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be doing a pretty cool experiment here on the $5 Windows 98 PC. And this video is probably going to be the longest video that I've ever done on this channel. And look, these are definitely some odd times that we're living in right now, and I just want to wish everybody well during this global health pandemic. I know that everybody is taking necessary precautions, including social distancing. I'm obviously doing that myself. But for those of you who are at home looking for something to watch, hopefully this video will keep you entertained. What we're going to be doing is, as you can probably tell from the title, essentially the massive Windows upgrade experiment on physical hardware, in this case the Windows 98 PC. Now this was an experiment that I originally did back in I believe 2016 for my 5,000 subscriber special. And back then I did this in a virtual machine, and basically what the idea is, if you've never seen my original video or another video like this, what we try to do is start out with the first version of Windows, Windows 1.0, and upgrade our way to the latest version of Windows, which in this case I'm pretty sure we're only going to get to Windows 7 because Windows 8 and I'm fairly certain Windows 10 are not going to support the processor that this old computer uses. This computer is literally 20 years old because it was manufactured in the year 2000. Actually, I believe in May 2000, so it's almost 20 years old. And I do not believe that Windows 8 and Windows 10 is going to support the processor that this computer has. At least that's what I've read. We're still going to try it and see how far we can get. But yeah, so you guys can see I've got MS-DOS installed on this computer. I kind of skipped ahead and installed MS-DOS 6.22. And we're going to get started and install Windows 1.0 and just continue that and see how far we can get. Alright, so right here, as I said before, this computer right now is currently running a Microsoft DOS version 6.22. And what I have on this one floppy diskette right here is Windows 1.0. Now, Windows 1.0 did not actually get released on a 3.5-inch floppy diskette. It got released on the 5.25-inch diskettes, which are the much bigger ones, which this computer does not have a 5.25-inch drive. So what I did is I actually extracted the contents from I think there were 5 different setup images, and copied them over to this one floppy diskette, and I confirmed that it does work because obviously the installer is going to ask for all of those diskettes, but if all the files are on this one diskette and it's able to find those files, it will just go through the installation. So yeah, I've got Windows 1.0 on this one diskette. We're going to put it in the drive right now, and we're going to get started with it. So we're going to navigate to the A drive here, and we're going to type in setup, and here we are at the Windows 1.0 setup program. We're going to install it to the C Windows directory. So the first thing that it's going to ask you for is what pointing device that you have, and essentially none of these actually work with the mouse that I have. This is a PS2 mouse, and you can see that we don't have an option here for a PS2 mouse, obviously. So we're just going to, we can choose, like, if you want to choose, okay, Microsoft mouse, we can just choose that, but it's still not going to work. Now, for the display here, we do not have a VGA option because, well, just like in the case for the PS2 port for the mouse, Windows 1.0 was released before VGA actually became a standard and actually was, beginning to be used on computers. So there's no VGA option, there's no PS2 option, but we can choose option number 6 to actually get a pretty good picture. So we're just going to go with that. That is the EGA more than 64K with enhanced color display. We're going to press enter. And now it's going to begin copying files, and you'll notice that what it will do is it will copy some files, then it will come up and ask you to insert the build disk. We're just going to press C because we've got the same disk in there with all the files, and it'll just continue copying the files over. Now the main reason that I did this is because I'm actually running low on floppy diskettes. Yeah, that's a phrase you guys have probably not heard a whole lot, if at all, here in 2020. Okay, so this copy actually got past gdi.exe. If you guys saw down there at the bottom, it said copying gdi.exe, and then it actually went past it. So I don't know what the heck is the problem with all of these. This is 3 copies of Windows 3.11, Windows 3.1, or no, 2 copies of Windows 3.11 and 1 copy of Windows for Workgroups 3.11. And this copy, like, just works. So I don't know what, these are all official diskettes. These are official Microsoft diskettes. But we're not done yet. Let me not jinx myself. Let's see if we can actually, because, the problem with Windows 3.0 was it wasn't getting to the screen, like the more graphical setup after disk 2. So this is that point. Got disk number 2. Okay, so there is hope. It actually loaded the graphical setup. This is what I was talking about before. So all of these, I mean, Windows 3.0 didn't get to this point, and all of these other versions didn't even get to like me inserting disk number 2. So, okay, we're just gonna roll with it. So I'm gonna type in my name here. I'm gonna type in my company as, let's just go with Team MJD. I haven't used that in a while. Press continue. Now we're going to set up Windows components. We're not going to set up printers, and we're going to set up applications already on hard disks. We're going to go with all these components here, and now it is going to start copying files again. So we're going to insert disk number 3, which we do have. So we're going to put that into the drive right now and press OK. Now I'm hoping that the incomplete Windows 3.0 installation that we have on the hard drive is not going to like cause the installer to think we don't have an existing copy of Windows. Either way, it shouldn't overwrite any of the existing files. So we're going to see if we can boot into Windows 3.1, if we can load like some of the older files like the MS-DOS executive and some of the Windows 1 and 2 applications. Okay, so we're going to allow Windows to make the modifications to the config.sys and autoexec.bat files for us. We're going to press OK. It's made those modifications. And now it's going to search our hard disk for applications and then set them up to run with Windows. We're going to go with we're just going to choose both these here. So it's found the MS-DOS editor, so we're going to press OK. And here we go. So these are all of the applications that Windows 1 and 2 installed. We're going to add all of them over here to actually be able to use them with Windows. You see we've got the MS-DOS editor, CVT Paint, QBasic. Now some of the things don't show up here. For example, Reversi does not show up here, but we were able to, in the original video, launch Reversi in Windows 3.1 and even Windows 95. So we're going to press OK here. We're going to skip the tutorial, and we're going to return to MS-DOS, and we're going to remove the diskette here. And there we go. So that is however many floppy diskettes this is. I mean, we didn't actually go through all of these, but we went through 4 different versions of Windows 3.1, various different versions of Windows 3.1. And, well, we actually got it working, so that is pretty awesome. So from here on out, we can actually utilize CDs for everything. Hopefully. We're going to see. I do have that 29 diskette version of Windows 95 that I could use if I have to, but I don't see any reason why the CD won't work. So we're going to launch Windows here. So here we are loaded into Windows 3.1. We're going to go into Help and go to About Program Manager. We can view the About information. Obviously, it's going to have our name and our company. And what I want to do is actually go into the Games folder here. You can see that Reversi does not show up, but Solitaire and Minesweeper do. We can obviously play those games. I do want to go into File Manager, though, and see if we can launch Reversi, if it's still in here. Is it? There it is, Reversi. Okay, so it says the application you're about to run was designed for a previous version of Windows. It's just kind of saying get an updated version of the application. We're just going to say okay. And there we go. Reversi still opens up, which is pretty awesome. So can you guys believe it? It is Reversi in all of its glory. So we're going to close out of that, or actually we can go to the About info. So this is the version from Windows 2.03. Because keep in mind, 2.03 did successfully install, so it would have already overridden all of the older versions of these files from Windows 1. So the older version of Reversi from Windows 1.0 is not here anymore. It's been obviously replaced by this version. So we can close out of that. So that is good. We can actually launch applications from Windows 2.03. Now the MS-DOS executive, which is this ms-dos.exe file right here, does not actually open up. It like will try to open up, but it will not actually do anything. You can see here. So that's kind of unfortunate. Because the MS-DOS executive is obviously the UI for Windows 1 and Windows 2.0. Now I was able to open this in Windows 7 in the previous video, and we're going to hope that we can do that again. One of the other programs we can try is Paint.exe. This is the older version of Microsoft Paint, and you can see that it does open up. So here it is. We can go to About Paint. This is again from version 2.03, and it does still work. So I can write out MJD here if I want to. There we go. Now what we can actually do is save this. Let's save this file as, and we'll save it MJD and press OK. Now something very interesting, the file extension that the old version of Paint uses to actually save files, which is the MSP file format, actually gets repurposed in later versions of Windows, and it actually is a Windows installer related file. So in later versions of Windows, when we open up that file, Windows will actually think it is a Windows installer related file as opposed to a drawing from Microsoft Microsoft Paint. One thing that I also want to do while we're here is go into accessories. I do want to make a couple of files. Let's go into right here. Let's just say, this was written in Windows 3.1. We can save this here, and we will save this just at the root of the C drive. How about that? And we'll save it as win31.wri. So we'll save that, and we'll do the same thing with Paintbrush, just kind of like we did in Paint. We'll go ahead and make a little graphic here. We'll write out MJD. We'll go ahead and make some shapes here. Why not? Let's make a red shape. We'll go into like the circles here. So there we go. We'll go ahead and save that. We will save this to the root of the C drive as well as win31.bmp. Now, one thing that I do want to do, which is something that I also did in the original video, is I want to actually make some modifications to control panel in here, mainly with the window color. And the idea here is basically setting a custom color scheme. So let's make like the active title bars yellow. Let's make the title bar text black. The inactive title bar text will be red. Let's make the background orange. We can make highlighted items green. Disabled text can be black, or actually no, that doesn't really fit very well. Let's do like a gray there. Window text. I mean, we're just kind of really customizing this in here, and then what we do is see if by upgrading to later versions of Windows, if it will actually retain all of these user set preferences. Now, spoiler alert, this does actually work, and you can see that in the original video, but we're still going to do it here because it is kind of cool. So we'll go ahead and change the button color and the application workspace color. Let's do this like dark blue color. So we'll hit OK. So there we go. We've got a totally custom color scheme here. So we're going to go ahead and close out of Windows. And we'll go ahead and end our Windows session. And now what we're going to do is reboot the system with the Windows 95 boot disk in the drive. So we're going to put that in and press Control-Delete to restart. Alright, so we've got the Windows 95 CD inserted. We're going to go ahead and switch to drive R here. And we're going to press Enter. It's going to run ScanDisk, which is obviously what it normally does. So we're going to, it found 131,000 bytes of data that might be one or more lost files or directories. It was probably just taking up space. That's interesting. We're just going to leave it alone. We're just going to say don't fix it and just leave it be. And this is an upgrade copy of Windows 95, by the way, which we obviously need to have in this case because we don't want to overwrite the existing Windows installation. We just want to upgrade. So we're going to accept the agreement, and we're going to go with a custom installation because we do want to customize everything. You can see it's already auto-populated our name and company that we entered in the Windows 3.1 setup, so we're going to leave that. And we're going to get our CD key here and enter that in. Alright, well, we're actually getting the exact same thing happening that happened in my Windows 95 floppy installation video, and it's the reason why I wasn't able to successfully install Windows 95, and that's because at the point where it's analyzing your computer, it actually freezes up. You can see I'm moving the mouse right now. The mouse cursor is not moving. The system has locked up. And yeah, this is literally the exact same thing that happened. And it tells us to not press Control-Delete. It says turn your computer off if there's no disk activity for a long time. And then it says turn it back on, run setup, and choose safe recovery. And this is the screen where it will actually freeze on. If you say yes, do you want setup to look for all hardware devices? We're going to say no, I want to modify the hardware list. So what I've basically done here is I've unchecked all of the unnecessary things that we do not absolutely need. And it's going to search for these devices right here. So we're just going to roll with that and press next, and it's still going to have to analyze everything. And I'm going to just move the mouse around here, and if it locks up, that's not a good sign. And there we go. So we actually got past it. So one of those devices that I unchecked that it was searching for was actually causing the setup to completely lock up. So it's a good thing we were able to get past that. So we are going to install all of these extra components. We're going to just have all of those checked. We're going to click on next. And this is where we actually get to modify the components. So we're just going to get everything. So we're going to check all of these categories. Alright, so that is everything. We've got all of the components selected here. Now, there's going to be a point where, because this disk right now is only, or this like hard drive is only utilizing 2 gigs, as you can see it's about 2,000 megabytes there. There is going to be a point where we have to expand the partition. But for now, it's only going to require 90 megabytes, and that's with installing everything. So we're just going to roll with that and click next. And for network devices, it says the following network components will be installed. Sure. And for the computer name, it wants to name the computer name Michael. We're going to actually change that to the 98 PC. The work group will keep as Team MJD. In the computer description, we'll just put the same thing. Or actually, we'll just put the $5 Windows 98 PC. Click next. And for our hardware, we're going to leave, all this is pretty much going to be fine. We've got our standard display adapter VGA, which is obviously what we want. Yeah, everything still looks good. Oh, we could change the user interface if you wanted to go back to the 3.1 Program Manager. We're going to leave it in Windows 95 though. Click on Next, and we're going to, start copying Windows 95 files to your computer. So there we go, guys. 95 is actually copying files right now. So we were able to get Windows 1 installed, we were able to get Windows 3.1 installed, and hopefully Windows 95 will finish up here. Alright, so the setup has finished up here. It's going to tell us to remove all the disks from our drive. So we're going to go ahead and remove the floppy disk and the CD-ROM. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll actually restart the system and boot up into Windows 95. So let's go ahead and press finish. And you can see already that some of the user set preferences that we specified in Windows 3.1 are taking effect here. So you can see that the yellow title bar color and the black text color is still here, and that's again what we said in Windows 3.1. We're going to go ahead and name our username Michael, and we're not going to bother entering a password. So now it's going to detect all hardware devices. It's not going to find the Windows 95 CD-ROM. Oh, that's right, because I took it out. And oh, it doesn't actually load the, dang it, it doesn't actually load the driver. So it looks like it does not actually load the driver. So what we're going to have to do is actually boot off of the floppy diskette and copy the drivers, or all those files from the Win95 folder over to the hard drive. 34 files copied, so we're going to go ahead and eject the CD right here and pop out the floppy disk, press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to restart. And now when we load back into Windows, we should be able to specify where those files are located. And so right here, we're going to press OK, and we're going to change this R here to a C. And now it should be able to find all those drivers, and yep, we're moving on. Just like normal. It's going to configure Microsoft Exchange, which is one of the options that we specified during the setup. And there we go. Setup has finished configuring your system. It asks us to restart our system. Now you'll notice that the background is orange. That was again another setting that we specified in Windows 3.1, so that has carried over as well. There we go, guys. We have just logged into Windows 95, and you can see that that yellow color is taking effect on the icons as well. Now you'll notice that Windows 95 has not actually kept the exact same program groups like it did in my original video, but under this applications folder, these are all the programs that are pre-Windows 3.1. So like CVT Paint, which is Convert Paint, I believe is even from Windows 1.0. It actually does not open. It just says Windows cannot run this program. There are no compatibility settings or anything like that in Windows 95. But what we can do though is go into my computer, and you can see that our C drive has the label MS-DOS 6, which was what I specified in when I installed MS-DOS. So that has not been changed. That is still carried over. Obviously the theme, as I said, but we can go into Windows here. And in here is obviously going to be where all of our applications are stored. So we can still scroll through here. We can find Progman, which was the Windows 3.1 Program Manager. Now, Windows 95 does include this, and they just update it. So this is not the exact same file that was in Windows 3.1, but you can still load the Program Manager, and you can set this as your default interface if you wanted to, which was that setting that you could specify during the setup. But if we scroll over here some more, you see we've got Reversi right here. We can try to launch this, and it actually does not launch the program, which is kind of unfortunate. Now, there are no compatibility settings in here, so we cannot enable anything like that. I'm pretty sure that Reversi ran in my VM version of this experiment, so that's kind of unfortunate. It just literally says Windows cannot run this program. So we'll see if miraculously, like in Windows 98, if it suddenly works again, or possibly even a future version of Windows after that. For other programs, let's scroll through here. There's Paint right here. Paint actually does not work. For MS-DOS here, which is the MS-DOS executive, this executable does not open up either. It just says it's not a valid Win32 application, which it isn't. Yeah, it actually appears that the majority of these programs do not open anymore. I'm trying to find some other ones here. Card File, this is the Windows 95 version of Card File. Same with Calendar. Or this could be like because this looks just like the Windows 1.0 and 2.0 version of Calendar. It could just be that going into Help and About just brings up the Windows 95 About screen, like where it says Microsoft Calendar, Windows 95. But I believe this is the same program from Windows like 1.0 and 2.0. So we can even say, like, let's just make a little calendar here. Let's say at 7 a.m. I want to make a video. At 10 a.m. I want to edit a video. We'll go ahead and just save that, and we'll just save this to the C drive as test.cal and save that. But yeah, clock here, this is the clock program from Windows. One of the things that I did that I actually forgot to do in this run of the experiment is, in the previous version, I opened the clock in Windows 3.1 and had it down here at the bottom corner, and when I upgrade to Windows 95 and open up the clock, it opened up in the exact same spot. So we're going to see if that happens here with Windows 95. See if we upgrade to 98 and if opening the clock will actually, you know, open it up in the exact same spot. But yeah, I'm thinking that this calendar program and the card file program are the older versions of this program, because these do look exactly like the versions that were in 1.0 and 2.0, and I would think Microsoft would have updated them for 95, because they even upgraded the program manager. I mean, the program manager in 95 is not the same as in Windows 3.1. One thing we can also do is go to the root of the C drive and actually try to open up these files that we created. So let's go ahead, and the C drive is right here. So we have Win31. This is the paint file, so you can see that obviously still opens up. So here it is. And then this right here is the which is now WordPad document, and it says this was written in Windows 3.1, and we can add to that and opened in Windows 95, and we can save that. It's going to ask you have to save it in a different format because the WRI format, I guess, is not used anymore, so we have to save it. Let's just save it as a .txt file, so we'll save that. So now we've got win31.wri and win31. This is the one that's actually been modified. So I think that we're ready, guys. Let's go ahead and pop in the Windows 98 CD-ROM. I'll go ahead and show that to you guys again. There it is. So we'll go ahead and pop that in. And when we insert it, it's going to ask you if you want to upgrade to Windows 98. We're going to say yes. And we're going to jump right into the setup. And you can see even here in the Windows 98 setup, those custom colors that we applied in Windows 3.1 are still taking effect. Even with the progress bar, it was green there, as you guys saw. So we're going to accept the license agreement. And our product key is actually on the back of this CD case. And so right here, it's going to ask us if you want to save your existing MS-DOS and Windows system files. We're going to say yes, because we absolutely want to save these files. And so we're just going to go through these prompts here. We're obviously here in the US. We're going to not create a startup disk. It's going to ask us if we want to do this. We're just going to say cancel because we don't need a startup disk, and we're going to begin copying files. Alright, so the setup has almost completed. We're here at the very last phase where it is updating system settings. And there we go, guys. We're restarting. We've got the Windows 98 boot screen, which is pretty awesome. And once again, we have our same preferences that we set back in Windows 3.1. We've got the yellow title bar, the black title bar text, and the orange background. Alright, so here we are, guys. We've got the Windows 98 little welcome window here. We're going to close out of that. We have our channel guide, over here. So that is, a program that Windows 98 introduced. Now, we did actually get some more icons on the desktop. Now, going into the Start menu and into Programs, we can go into the Applications folder again, which once again contains all of our pre-Windows 3.1 programs. We're going to try to launch ConvertPaint. And it says Windows cannot run this program. That is kind of unfortunate. Now, we can launch like a Microsoft QBasic. I mean, this is a MS-DOS program. I mean, we can actually load this up, and you can see that the copyright date is 87 to 92, meaning that Windows 98 did not touch this. So that is QBasic. We can obviously launch that. One of the other programs that we have is MSAV, which is Microsoft Antivirus. And this right here is a Windows, this is not a Windows 98 program. We can go ahead and go to About Antivirus. You see it's Microsoft Antivirus for Windows, copyright 1993. So this is most likely a Windows 3.1 application. But yeah, this is basically, you know, just a virus scanner, you know, for Windows. So that is a program that does open up, and you can see that the title bar and everything is a little bit different. It's in a little bit of a different design. It kind of looks more similar to Windows 3.1. Just the way that it looks. I mean, I can open up a my computer window, and you can see they just kind of look a little bit different, like the actual border around them. So yeah, that is definitely a Windows 3.1 program. We can also, let's see what else we got in here. We once again have card file and calendar. We can open this up. Card file looks exactly the same. And going into help and about, it's probably, yeah, so now it says Windows 98. So this is just probably pulling the like generic about screen from Windows 98, because this is literally the exact same program. The same thing with calendar. These programs are not normally in the accessories folder. So this calendar program right here, yep, you can see that it is exactly the same as it was before, just with a different about box. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this much longer video. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already, to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do multiple times per week here on this channel. And if you guys have any comments, questions, or video suggestions for me, be sure to leave them down below, as those definitely do help, and I always enjoy reading your guys' feedback to these videos. As always, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for watching and for your continued support here on the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.